What do you think of the parents that kick their kids out as soon as they have turned 18 years old? They're not Italian, that's for sure. Here in Italy, when the child is finally ready to leave the house at the age of 35, the family gets together to bid them a tearful goodbye before they move 1 kilometer away from their parents' house. Smile. My BF got kicked out at 18 and his parents literally said to his face, "Since you were an accident and we didn't mean to have you, we need you out of the house now so we can actually relax like we used to before you were born." Anyway, I think extremely badly of them. Since you're 80, I'm gonna need you to die ASAP since y'all never wanted to be around me in the first place. 55. 40. Given the backstory. Brother was out before 18 and I was out at 18, and my dad didn't even have a funeral. Should tell you about all you need to know about parents who kick their kids out ASAP. I'm not even sure if my father is alive, or dead. I could probably find out, but I really don't care enough to check. Every year around Christmas I will get an email from a new email address because I blocked the one from the year before. It usually has a line or two about how he misses me and thinks about me every day, followed by several pages of paragraphs filled mostly with Mormon scripture and readings about how evil it is for a child to ignore disrespect their father, especially a son. He did send me a surprise one when I graduated nursing school asking me why I didn't go to medical school. He never went to college BTW. He never mentions anything about abusing me, my siblings, or my mother. Or about how he has been married 11 times and now lives alone in a veteran's home. Haven't seen him since I was 20 and I am about to be 36. Doing okay without him, I think. Wow, this just kept getting more horribly crazy each line. Hope everything keeps getting better for you, friend. Thanks for sharing part of your story. Thanks. Mostly happy my kids don't have to deal with the life I grew up with. I can't imagine having to deal with that. My dad lost a place to live at his parents' house for the summer his last year of college, and luckily my mom's parents let him stay in their basement. From what my parents told me, my dad was devastated by this. My parents' rule was we would have a place to stay without paying rent as long as we were in school or after we graduated while we were getting our first job. I really appreciated their support and not needing to worry about housing during the summers while I was in college. We'll be doing the same with my 3 kids. Boomer parent here. Our 2 sons were welcome to live at home as long as they wanted, as long as they were going to school and or working. My oldest is 31 and married. He lived at home for 9 months after he graduated from college, then moved in with his now wife after she finished school. Our younger son is 27. He flunked out of college, spun his wheels for a bit and got sidetracked by the pandemic. He got off his butt, went to community college, got his associates and was just offered a full-time job with benefits. He'll probably be out within the next 3 months. We have no regrets. Millennial parent here, and we're setting the same rules for our kids. I just can't see raising a kid only to immediately boot them out the second they reach the age of majority. Gen X parent here. My kids were welcome to stay as long as they needed to, as long as they were trying to be productive in the household. They aren't far away now, but I still miss them. Was one of those kids, haven't spoken to my parents in over 10 years. Have no intention on speaking to them anytime in the future either. Lol, my roommate was kicked out of his house by his mom when he was 18 by being driven to a gas station a fair distance away and just left there. On his birthday, he found a way home to find all his stuff on the lawn, the locks on the doors changed, the doorbell disabled, all the blinds and stuff closed. Mother hiding within. He lived with his dad long enough to afford his own place and peaced out. Years later he gets a text from his mom who found his number by asking around. Basically said, "Hello, is this Jim? It's your mom, just wanted to catch up," and the ice-cold mother ducker responds with, "I don't know. If you're looking for him, maybe check the gas station where you last saw him. Maybe he's still there." And that was the last thing he said, lol. Apparently she was all pissed off and tried to get at him through his dad, but the dad was like, "You dumped him off at a fucking gas station, you psychopath. How do you think he would feel about you?" And just stonewalled her. He didn't appear too fucked up over it, but I think it left its marks. He moved around a lot. Never bought himself a lot of stuff because he said he likes to keep it light so he can up and be gone in an hour kind of thing. Which he did. When he moved out he basically packed a large suitcase and a knapsack and was on the bus to the next place. As someone who got kicked out a few days before my 18th birthday, the traveling light is a trauma response. It took me a long time to get over that. From about 18 to 25 I didn't want anything that could not fit in my car. You started off kind of wanting to buy things for comfort. Like a mattress, etc. But then you have to move again. And now you're out $100 for a mattress, etc., etc., etc. Edit. Wasn't expecting this to get as many upvotes and attention. I'm glad a lot of you all have also gotten therapy, etc. This entire post was definitely an unexpected trigger tonight. Kicking out your kid as soon as you're legally allowed to do so tells me you wanted them out of the house even earlier, and the only reason you didn't do it is because you didn't want to be arrested. I think people who do this never actually wanted to be parents in the first place. Which is crazy because that's an option. Great candidates for a nursing home in their later years. I wonder how many parents realize their relationship with their kids is somewhat quid pro quo. It feels a bit sociopathic of me to say, but take care of your kids and invest in their futures and lives. Rewarding in itself, yes, but ultimately, one day, you're gonna be old and unable to wipe your own ass, and if your kid hates you, he's not going to do it. Hell, I love my parents, but I still am not looking forward to those times. Social capital is a real and undervalued asset among certain segments of the American population. Vape. I was kicked out at 16 and again at 18. My mother had no ambitions for work and decided the low to zero income way of life was a good choice to raise 3 kids. Addictions and mental disorders OFC. Anyhow, she demanded $500 per month from me, while I was in high school. At the time, a full-time job at minimum wage would net you about $300 bi-weekly. Needless to say, I first had to drop out of school to work full-time to pay her that. Eventually I got back into school, cut back on, and quit jobs until I was part-time and could actually attend school. This caused money to stop coming in. This caused her to be angry. This caused me to become homeless. So now when she asks for help, or simply wants to talk to me, and I don't reply, well, there you go. There were many other things involved, but if you are a dick to your kids, they will be a dick to you when they are adults. Rightfully so. Yes, I am now a parent, and no, under no circumstances would I do what she did. It always astounds me how some parents treat their kids like tenants, then try to casually call them up when they're independent. Nobody wants to keep in touch with their imperialistic landlord. It's worse when you have a sibling who doesn't get that treatment but you do. Not only am I paying rent what I can barely afford to, but now I know they have a favorite and it's not me. Edit. Thanks. Some time has passed since that all happened, but only now am I seeing and understanding how my upbringing really was versus the perspective I had when I was stuck in it. Learning the abuse wasn't normal is tough. My older brother was a complete narcissistic asshole. He would hit me often and told me, if I told my parents, he would kill me. He was constantly causing problems with my parents. My father told him that on his 18th birthday, he could have breakfast in the house, but his lunch was going to be on the front porch in a paper bag, so pack a suitcase. My father was true to his word. One of the greatest days of my life. Generally speaking, I'd say those parents don't understand the reality of the current economic landscape, and that unless they made a Herculean effort, they probably didn't set their kid up properly to do well. Not to mention that during most of history and in the vast majority of cultures, leaving home at 18 just was not a thing. You generally stayed at home until you married, whatever age that may be, and even after you might still live with your parents, or even if you have your own home you'd be very closely connected, often still working the same land together, etc. The idea that people are supposed to move out at 18 and make it on their own, when they're still 4 to 6 years from full mental development BTW, is by far the exception rather than the rule historically. I told my wife just the other day that I wouldn't be surprised if the US began to culturally revert back to multi-generational living being the norm again due to the housing situation. I'd honestly be good with that. One of my kids has moved out, she goes to college in another state, and I'm really in no hurry for the others too. I don't think my youngest will want to for a while, TBH. I see no reason to rush him. Of course I expect them all to further their lives in some way regardless of their living situation. Go to college, do an apprenticeship, get a job, whatever works for them, but they don't have to move out. The economy is brutal, and as someone who was thrown out into it at 18, I'm not going to do that to them. It makes people make decisions while in survival mode, and that's just really not ideal.